Looking for magic cards? At flipsidegaming.com you can now use the promo code LVD to get a 10% discount on orders over $10 while supporting the channel at the same time. Hello and welcome to another Magic Arena gameplay video. Today we're taking a look at a black-white Lich's Mastery deck, which is a life gain control deck built around the 6 mana legendary enchantment Lich's Mastery, which has a lot of text, so let's try and break it down. So first off, Lich's Mastery has hexproof, which means that the opponent can't easily remove it with a disenchant effect, which is good. Next up it says we can't lose the game, which seems like a pretty good deal, but as we'll see in a second, there are some drawbacks involved as well. And then next up, whenever we gain life, we draw that many cards, and as you'll see, a lot of the cards in our deck gain us life, so once we deploy a Lich's Mastery, we will pretty quickly be able to draw our entire deck, and of course, since we can't lose the game when Lich's Mastery is in play, we also won't lose the game from drawing a card from an empty library, which is good. And here comes a drawback. Whenever we lose life, for each one life we lost, exile a permanent we control, or a card from our hand, or a card from our graveyard. So when the opponent gets in for a bunch of damage, first we will probably start exiling some cards from our graveyard, since we don't really care about those, but then if our graveyard is empty and that's no longer an option, we'll have to start exiling some cards from our hand, or maybe exiling some permanents in play that we don't really care about. But as soon as our hand size starts diminishing and we can no longer exile cards from our hand, we'll have to start exiling more and more permanents, and eventually we'll have to exile Lich's Mastery itself. And then the last line of text on Lich's Mastery says, when Lich's Mastery leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. So once you're forced to exile your own Lich's Mastery, you will lose the game. And there are also some other cards in Standard that could potentially get rid of the Lich's Mastery and make you lose the game on the spot. Those include cards like River's Rebuke, which could force you to bounce the Lich's Mastery back to your hand without having to target it, and then you will lose the game. A card like Cleansing Nova could also destroy all enchantments in play, including the Lich's Mastery, which will also make you lose the game. So those are the main cards that people could potentially play to make you lose the game, despite Lich's Mastery having hexproof. But because we're playing Lich's Mastery in this control shell where we have a ton of removal, we can pretty easily manage the opponent's creatures to make sure that the drawback doesn't come up too often. So taking a look at our entire deck, we've got the full 4 copies of Fountain of Renewal, a 1 mana artifact that gains us 1 life at the beginning of our upkeep, and we can also sacrifice it for 3 mana to draw a card. But Fountain of Renewal, great early game to buffer our life total a little bit, and then once we deploy a Lich's Mastery, we'll start drawing an extra card every turn for each life we gain from our fountains. And Fountain of Renewal also plays very nicely with our next card, which is Dawn of Hope, a 2 mana enchantment that says, whenever you gain life you can pay 2 mana, and if you do, draw a card. So on our upkeep we'll gain 1 from our fountain, and if we want to we can pay 2 mana to draw a card with the Dawn of Hope, and of course the more Dawn of Hopes or the more fountains we have in play, the more mana we can spend to draw cards, which is good. So this is the way we get ahead on cards as well, if we don't already have a Lich's Mastery in play. And Dawn of Hope also has the ability for 3 and a white to make a 1/1 soldier creature token with a lifelink, which will also help us trigger the first clause on Dawn of Hope to gain life and draw cards, and eventually is also going to function as our primary win condition. So once we've drawn our entire deck with Lich's Mastery and a bunch of life gain effects, we will deploy a Dawn of Hope and then start making tons and tons of soldier tokens to close out the game. And as we will see in a second, we have a way to generate a lot of mana if we have a lot of life, which we can then sink into making even more soldier tokens. Then we have 4 copies of Revitalize, 2 mana for an instant that gains 3 life and draws a card. So in the early game we can use this to cycle through our deck and buffer our life total if we're up against a creature deck. And then in the late game, in combination with Lich's Mastery, this will draw us 4 cards essentially for 2 mana, which is a pretty good deal. And also works nicely with Dawn of Hope as a way to gain life and be able to pay 2 mana to draw a card as well. Then we have 2 copies of Moment of Craving as a cheap removal spell, giving target creature -2/-2 until end of turn, and gaining us 2 life, so works well with all our life gain synergies. And then another important card in our deck is Azor's Gateway, 2 mana for a legendary artifact. For 1 mana we can tap the Gateway to draw a card and then exile a card from our hand. And then if we've exiled 5 cards with different converted mana costs, of course lands having a converted mana cost of 0, we get to untap Azor's Gateway, gain 5 life, and transform it into the legendary land Sanctum of the Sun, which taps to add X mana of any color to our mana pool, where X is our life total. So this is how we can turn all the life we've gained into a mana advantage by making a ton of mana and then using all that mana to make tokens with Dawn of Hope, for example. Then at 3 mana we've got 4 copies of Ritual of Rejuvenation, 3 mana for an instant that gains 4 and draws a card, so a more expensive version of Revitalize, arguably a lot worse as well since 1 mana is usually not worth the 1 life difference, but we do need a number of 3 drops in the deck as well to make sure we have different converted mana costs to exile to the Azor's Gateway. And then at 4 mana we've got a bunch of sweeper effects and removal spells. We've got 2 copies of Settle the Wreckage, exiling all attacking creatures. We've got 2 copies of Ritual of Soot, destroying all creatures with convert mana cost 3 or less, and 3 copies of Vraska's Contempt, exiling target creature or planeswalker, and also gaining us 2 life, so also nice synergy with all the life gain, and gives us an answer to planeswalkers, which could otherwise be problematic. And then at 5 mana we've got a bunch more sweeper effects. We've got 3 copies of Cleansing Nova, which can destroy all creatures, can also destroy all artifacts and enchantments, but of course we don't want to be using that once we've got a Lich's Mastery in play, otherwise we lose the game on the spot, but we could potentially use it beforehand to get rid of some problematic artifacts or enchantments. And then we also have 2 copies of Lyra Dawnbringer, which can function as an alternative win condition, especially against decks that don't have an easy time removing a Lyra Dawnbringer. 5 mana for a 5/5 flying first striking angel with lifelink, which of course also synergizes very nicely with all our life gain synergies. And then going over the mana base, we've got 1 spicy land here, Reliquary Tower, which says we don't have a maximum hand size, which is quite useful in combination with Lich's Mastery, since when we're going off with Lich's Mastery, we do tend to fill our hand pretty quickly, and it would be kind of a waste to discard all those cards to hand size, since you can normally only have 7 cards in hand, but thanks to Reliquary Tower we can keep as many of those cards in hand as we want, so we don't have to discard them. And then the rest of the mana base is pretty straightforward. We've got 4 copies of Isolated Chapel, comes into play untapped if we have a Plains or Swamp in play. We're kind of forced to play the Forsaken Sanctuaries to make sure we have enough black and white mana, which comes into play tapped all the time. And then we've got a 9 basic Swamps and 7 basic Plains. So that's the deck. Now let's jump into some games and see how the deck does. Alright, we're on the play, and this hand seems pretty good. A nice mix of lands. Fountain we can play early, which I think I will play on turn 1 here, since we don't have any turn 2 play, so we can play the Sanctuary tapped on turn 2. And then a lot of removal, and our key Lich's Mastery. And turn 1 Llanowar Elves. So the Ritual of Soot is probably going to be pretty good here. Let's just play the tapped Sanctuary, say go. Just want to make sure we hit our land drops here, and then we can clean up the board with our sweeper effects. Our opponent on a token deck here, making some saprolings, so the Ritual of Soot is gonna be pretty decent. Could consider sacrificing the Fountain end of turn to make sure we keep hitting our land drops, maybe find more sweeper effects. Don't hate it, since we don't have a Dawn of Hope in hand. Main phase Spore Swarm, that's fine. Kind of playing into our Ritual of Soot. Opponent probably should have considered casting it end of turn. So I think I will sacrifice a Fountain. Usually we want to keep the Fountain around, but I want to make sure we keep hitting our land drops here. Alright, so let's just Ritual, get rid of all the tokens, and the Llanowar Elves. And Leonin Warleader sadly doesn't die to Moment of Craving, so we'll have to get rid of it with Settle the Wreckage, which is still fine. And we're getting pretty close to casting our Lich's Mastery, but we would prefer to cast a Lich's Mastery with our opponent not having too many creatures in play. Alright, so here I think we actually let our opponent get the tokens before we settle. So by settling now, our opponent would only get 1 land, but they would still keep the 2 cat tokens they get from the Warleader. By waiting, we also get rid of the tokens, but of course our opponent gets 2 extra lands. But I think those tokens are actually going to be pretty annoying here when we're on the Lich's Mastery plan and we don't have any auto sweepers. So opponent gets the cat tokens, we'll settle. Opponent gets a pretty nice mana advantage here, but hopefully they don't have too many relevant cards in hand to make use of those lands. And then we get to pull ahead with a Lich's Mastery. Alright, so what's the follow-up? A Trostani Discordant, not exactly what we were hoping to see here. Another hard-hitting threat. Alright, Cleansing Nova's pretty good here. We could wait a turn, make a maybe overextend. In the meantime we get to cast Ritual of Rejuvenation maybe, but I kind of want to keep the Ritual until after the Lich's Mastery, so I think we just wipe the board here. Because if our opponent plays around another sweeper effect, they aren't really forced to commit any more creatures to the board since they're hitting us for 5, which is quite a bit. But we might regret it if our opponent plays a bunch more creatures here. Alright, it's going to be an Amara, which dies to our Moment of Craving, so that's fine. And a tap land, so we're going to Moment. Hope our opponent doesn't have a March of the Multitudes here. And then we'll get to play our Lich's Mastery soon. So Imara dies. And we're gonna try and hold on to the ritual until after we play the Lich's Mastery. Ajani's Welcome is fine. And our opponent's out of creatures, which is perfect here. So we get to play a Mastery. Opponent can pressure our life total. Well, in this case, it's more the cards we have than our life total. Once there's a Lich's Mastery in play. Get to untap, another sweeper's nice. So let's ritual first here, see what we draw. We'll get to draw 5 cards. Fountains are good. Alright, and more sweepers is always appreciated as well. So now we're just looking for Azor's Gateway and Donophobe to be able to close out the game quickly. We can easily take a hit from the Llanowar Elves here. Just exile a card from our graveyard. Should also be able to take a hit from a pretty big March of the Multitudes if that's what our opponent has. And then just exile a bunch of cards from our graveyard and then wipe the board with a Ritual or a Cleansing Nova. So now we'll get to draw 3 cards a turn with the Fountains and Lich's Mastery, which will draw us into even more life gain. So the Llanowar Elves gets in for 1. We'll exile a card from our graveyard. Doesn't really matter which one. And our opponent's just gonna concede. Alright, well, we were gonna go off with our Lich's Mastery here, but yeah, once we get to this point, the creature decks are gonna struggle to deal with what we've got going on. So on to the next one. Alright, we're on the play, and this hand seems quite good. We've got the Fountain plus Donophobe combo, 3 lands, so just need to make sure we keep hitting our land drops for Cleansing Nova, so we can manage the board. So let's lead with our Fountain. And on turn 3, after playing the Donophobe, we're probably gonna draw a card right away instead of casting the Ritual. So we've got our card draw engine online, we're hitting our land drops, Cleansing Nova can deal with creatures, and our opponent appears to be on a Boros aggro deck here, so the Cleansing Nova is going to be great. Alright, perfect, we get to play our tap land here. And then next turn we can either draw a card with the Donophobe, we can make a token with the Donophobe, we'll see. Shield of the Realm, interesting. Not too relevant in this matchup. So I think I'm fine drawing a card here. Alright, Lyra could be good too. Not too many ways a red-white deck has to answer Lyra. So next turn we might just play Lyra instead. So we're not gonna draw any cards here. Play Lyra. And if they have an answer, that's fine. If they don't, then Lyra's gonna run away with the game. And next turn we can pay for the Donophobe. If Lyra survives and gets to attack, we also gain life, so that's another way we can draw a card with the Donophobe. If Lyra gets answered, we can still draw a card with Donophobe and Fountain, and then make a token maybe with the Donophobe. Act of Treason, alright. It's gonna be pretty decent here. But it's not a permanent answer to Lyra, so... let's draw a card. And we're just looking for a Lich's Mastery at this point. Reliquary Tower is nice too. So let's get in for 5. And we could pay 2 to draw a card, but I think I'll decline. This way we keep more options open, since we can always cast a Revitalize and then pay 2 mana for the Donophobe to draw an extra card. So we still get to use our mana efficiently, but maybe something happens where we want to activate the Donophobe instead, or maybe cast a Ritual, who knows. War Leader's fine. So we could always keep our Lyra on defense if we want to. Although the shield is going to make things a little tricky with the War Leader, since Lyra won't be able to kill the War Leader by herself. So let's cast our Revitalize and draw an extra card with Dawn of Hope. Think we're still fine drawing. So Ritual of Soot, not the best answer here. Think we're just gonna say go once again. We could start attacking and then using Cleansing Nova to clean up the board. Don't really want to throw away Lyra, at least not yet. Triumph of Gerard, sure. So our opponent can move the shield on the War Leader. They decide not to. Alright, no attacks then. Let's just ritual and draw a card. Settle the Wreckage is a good answer to the War Leader. More Cleansing Novas. So your opponent's not gonna be killing us with creatures anytime soon. Let's draw more. Don't have to worry about our hand size, thanks to the tower. Alright. Think I'm fine attacking here, since we've got the settle now. And I will pay 2 here. Still keeps up settle. Opponent does move the shield now. Attacks with just a Boros Challenger, that's fine. I'll take 2. They're gonna pump it, that's fine too. So we can just Revitalize and then draw an extra card with the Dawn of Hope. Could have also made a token. Sure, let's draw. If you really insist. Let's keep attacking with Lyra. Draw more cards. And say go. So, third chapter of Triumph of Gerard. Creature gains lifelink, flying a first strike. And given that we have Ritual of Soot in hand, I think I'm okay casting the Settle the Wreckage before they get the cat tokens. Since I don't really care about the tokens that are left, I would rather not give them 2 extra lands here. So War Leader's gone. And the 2 tokens are still attacking here, which is fine. Could make the argument that keeping our opponent at 10 life is more useful. But our opponent had a Banefire for Lyra anyway, which is fine. Just waiting for our Lich's Mastery here. So let's draw. Moment of Craving is pretty good too. Let's clean up the board. Play another Fountain. Might as well play another Dawn of Hope. Although maybe we should play around an opposing Cleansing Nova, you never know. So let's just keep it in hand. And play the Stabbed, say go. So now we can start drawing 2 extra cards with Fountain plus Dawn of Hope. Could also kill the Healer's Hawk here with our Moment of Craving. Might as well. Alright, come on, Lich's Mastery, where are you? Alright, not yet. So we'll have to wait one more turn. Good thing we have this tower, since otherwise we wouldn't be able to hold all these cards. Now we can just make a token with the Dawn of Hope. Alright, still nothing. And there it is. Then we can attack, draw a card from the Mastery being in play. And we've got plenty of cards to discard. Or exile rather, if our opponent deals us damage somehow. If they do have a Cleansing Nova, we would lose the game, so hopefully that's not the case. But looking at their deck, they seem a more aggressive creature-based deck. So I don't really expect them to have a Cleansing Nova. And I imagine if they did have one, they would have used it already to get rid of the Dawn of Hope. Shock kills the soldier. Works for me. Another reason not to play the second Dawn of Hope is to prevent having too many triggers on our upkeep, which can be somewhat annoying. If you've got a lot of Fountains and a lot of Dawn of Hopes with Lich's Mastery, you do have to do a lot of clicking in your upkeep. So, sure, let's draw more. Just looking for Azor's Gateway now, so we can make a ton of mana. We're drawing 5 cards a turn now. And soon enough we'll have drawn our entire deck, which implies that we'll have drawn an Azor's Gateway. I guess we could keep a 1-drop in hand for the Gateway, make sure we have a varied number of mana costs still. So I think we'll cast a Ritual, we can still exile second copy we have in hand. Just to try and find a Gateway right now. Lyra would also do the trick. So I will decline this time, so we can just play Lyra if we don't find a Gateway, but we did find a Gateway, which means I'll just play it right now. And it's difficult to keep track of a hand this big, but yeah, we'll just say go. And then in 5 turns essentially we'll have a transformed Gateway, which will then make 1,000,000 mana approximately, which we can sink into making tokens. So we can start by getting rid of a land here, which is convert mana cost 0. We can exile a 1 being Fountain, a 2, we've got plenty of those, a 3 being Ritual, and we've got a lot of 4-drops as well that we don't mind getting rid of. So I'm not gonna do anything here, no real reason. Just need to wait for the Gateway to transform to more efficiently make those soldier tokens. Alright, let's play land. Say go. Should have plenty of removal spells for whatever our opponent presents. So we got rid of a land earlier. Now we'll get rid of a Fountain. Probably should have just made a bunch of soldier tokens end of turn there with the Dawn of Hope. But I think it's going to be more time efficient to make them once we transform the Gateway, even though it's technically not the correct play. But don't want to waste too much of the opponent's time either. Alright. So, third activation of Gateway, we're slowly getting there. Let's get rid of a 2-drop now, Revitalize, untap. So end of turn we can use a gateway, and then untap, use gateway right away, and have access to a lot of mana. Say go. I guess had we made a bunch of soldier tokens earlier, we might have been able to kill our opponent already. Alright, so let's get rid of a 3-drop, which is Ritual. And then untap. No more cards in library, but thanks to Lich's Mastery we don't lose the game. Which is maybe what the opponent was hoping for, if they don't fully understand what Lich's Mastery does. So let's transform this and get rid of another Lich's Mastery. And now we have Sanctum of the Sun, which also gains 5 life, which is also a combo with Lich's Mastery. Alright, let's just play our land, say go, and then end of turn we'll start making soldiers. We could have also gained a lot more life in the meantime to make sure that we maximized the Sanctum of the Sun, but I think we'll have enough here. So make 61 white mana, and then start making some soldier tokens. Opponent hasn't been doing much in the past couple turns, so who knows what they're holding. And of course, Sanctum of the Sun with all the soldier tokens kind of feeds itself, because the more soldiers you can make, the more life you can gain, and the more mana the Sanctum of the Sun makes, and the more soldiers you can keep pumping out. Alright, 19 tokens should do the trick for now. Probably should have sacrificed the fountains in the meantime, so we don't have all these triggers on upkeep. But let's attack, see if they have Settle the Wreckage here, or if they're dead. Alright, they have a Settle, so we'll have to go through this once again. We'll decline. Alright, well. Alright, so we've got 20 soldier tokens this time around. I'm just gonna attack with everyone once again. If they have another Settle, they have another Settle. We can keep doing this all day. Alright, let's get in there. Alright, chance for glory. It's not gonna do much here. And our opponent dies. Alright, sweet. Alright, we're on the draw, and yeah, this hand's not amazing, but it's probably keepable still. We've got some tools against creature decks, Moment of Craving Ritual. And we've got our Lich's Masteries already in hand, so we don't need to worry about finding them. Opponent on black-green, Merfolk Branchwalker. So black-green mid-range, which should be a decent matchup for us. So we could take 2, we could kill the Branchwalker right away with Moment of Craving. I think I'm okay taking 2, given that we've got Ritual of Soot as a way to clean up the board. Alright, Stitcher Supplier means that they're more of a graveyard deck as well, which could make things more complicated. As a Reassembling Skeleton goes to the graveyard, which they can get back. And a World Shaper, so they're going pretty big here with graveyard synergies. I think I'm still fine taking 2. Alright, another Ritual. Lots on tap, I think I'm saying go. And then I'm probably just gonna end up using the Moment of Craving on the Merfolk Branchwalker anyway. But we'll see what they do here. Treasure map. Yeah, let's just use a Moment of Craving. Hang on to the Ritual of Soot for now, since I don't necessarily want to kill the Stitcher Supplier. Alright, more Lich's Masteries. Not exactly what we were looking for. So yeah, I think we can say go. Want to keep the Ritual of Rejuvenation until after we play one of our Lich's Masteries, so we can draw more cards right away. Our life total is not really in danger. Twilight Prophets doesn't die to Ritual, sadly. But at least they don't have the City's Blessing yet. Alright, so let's untap, hope to draw an untapped land, we did. So, by playing Lich's Mastery we'll have to get rid of 4 cards here, but we can exile the Moment of Craving and exile these useless Lich's Masteries in our hand anyway, so I think that's okay. And then next turn we can Ritual of Rejuvenation, hope to find some answers to the Twilight Prophet mostly. So we'll take 4. Opponent's gonna flip the treasure map, gain the City's Blessing for the Prophet. Which is pretty scary when we have a Lich's Mastery in play. Alright, we get to untap. Dawn of Hope's not bad, but let's just Ritual main phase here to hit our land drop. And Vraska's Contempt's a pretty good answer here, so we're fine casting it on the Prophet. Draw 2 more cards. Alright, so now we just need to find our Azor's Gateway at some point to be able to make more mana. Our opponent with a Lothloth Giant, which is gonna make us get rid of 3 cards. Got 2 in the graveyard. And then we'll ditch a land, I guess. And then have to get rid of 2 more cards. I guess a Ritual of Soot can go. I guess we don't need the Dawn of Hope quite yet. And we'll draw another one at some point. Alright, drew another Dawn of Hope, works out. So let's Revitalize, and then we can Cleansing Nova and Fountain. Opponent gets to fill their graveyard some more, so if they have more undergrowth synergies like the Giant, we could be in a bit of trouble. We see Journey to Eternity, which could be a scary card for us. If they keep looping back Giants, they could potentially kill us. And it's going to be an Izoni, making a bunch of insect tokens. So we better find an answer to that. Alright, so did not find a sweeper yet. Let's Revitalize. Still nothing. Alright, let's keep going. And I think we just Revitalize instead of Ritual so that we can potentially still cast a Cleansing Nova. If that's the sweeper we draw. Lyra's okay too, but it's probably gonna die to a Chupacabra. Alright, and there's a Cleansing Nova, which feels safer to me than trying to set up the Settle the Wreckage. We did not find a Reliquary Tower, so we will have to discard a bunch to hand size here. But that's okay. I think I get rid of Lyra since I have very low confidence in Lyra sticking around. Opponent is probably holding some Chupacabras in hand. Alright, Find can get back Giant and Izoni. That's okay. They recast Izoni. So yeah, exiling Izoni would prevent this loop from happening. But we don't really want to settle the Wreckage and give our opponent a ton of lands here with all the insects. So we want to find another Ritual of Soot. Or another Cleansing Nova potentially. We are going to run out of sweepers at some point. I think I will just Cleansing Nova for now. Keep the Contempt in hand as another answer. Play a Fountain. And say go. And then we can Contempt or we can Ritual. And keeping up Contempt in case they play another Journey to Eternity also seems worth it. Alright, let's Ritual. And there's a gateway. So we would like to find our Reliquary Tower here. So we don't have to discard to hand size a bunch. But I also don't think we go looking for the Reliquary Tower necessarily. It's not too important right now. So play Gateway. Play a Dawn of Hope. Play a land. And discard a bunch of lands. I think we're fine using Settle, get rid of the recursive reassembling skeletons. Our opponent is slowly running out of cards. Giant for 6, that's fine. And end of turn, make sure to use the gateway. And we'll start by getting rid of a land as a 0 mana cost card. Alright. Think we can probably afford to draw a card here with the Dawn of Hope. I guess we'll do one more. Alright, so still no Reliquary Tower. So we could Ritual to draw 5, but if Reliquary Tower's one of the bottom 3, then we still didn't draw it. So I don't think we cast a Ritual here. We'll just discard a bunch of lands. And we might also want to keep a 3 mana cost card for the gateway, since we did already get rid of both copies of Lich's Mastery. And we probably need all the sweeper effects. So I'm just gonna pass a turn here, ditch some lands. Fine Broker can get back Izoni is my guess. So that could be an issue. Instead, Journey to Eternity. Alright, well, they're gonna get punished if they try and go for it here, since we have the Contempt already. Alright, and there's a tower. So I think I will take a hit from the Lothos Giant here, since I really want to make sure to use the Azor's Gateway here every turn. So we get to it faster. Alright, let's use the Gateway. And I guess we'll get rid of a 2. Don't want to get rid of the other gateway just in case they do have an answer to the one in play. And we'll just untap for now. No need to draw any cards. Now we can just start making soldier tokens. Alright, have another ritual. So we can potentially cast a ritual if we want to, but... And a fountain can be a nice 1-drop to exile with the gateway as well. Alright, so... Not gonna bother playing Lyra here. Just gonna say go. Make a soldier to block the giant, potentially. No need to draw cards. J-Light Ranger's fine. Use a gateway. We'll get rid of the fountain. So we've got 3 cards exiled right now. Let's just make another soldier. And another one. Alright. So yeah, we're just on the plan of preserving our life total with our soldiers, flip gateway, and then we can start going to town. And if we can, we should try and keep gateway plus 5 convert mana costs in hand, in case they deal with the first one here. Otherwise it might be difficult to win without the extra mana from the gateway. And also want to keep a backup Dawn of Hope in hand if we can. Opponent did have Chupacabra, so glad we didn't play out Lyra. And it's gonna be a Crawl Foragers, getting the opponent a bunch of life, that's fine. Opponent gets in there, we'll make another token. Want to keep Settle the Wreckage until our opponent maybe casts another Izoni. They're gonna save the Jade Light Ranger with Necrotic Wounds on the token, that's fine. So yeah, only want to play Lyra once the opponent's empty-handed basically. But it's not our primary game plan. The primary game plan is Dawn of Hope plus Gateway. And it looks like we'll get to flip our Gateway here, which is good. So what convert manacles do we have? We have 0, 1, 2. So let's use Gateway. And looks like our opponent does have something here, maybe a Assassin's Trophy, which would set us back quite a bit. And yeah, trophy for Gateway, so we're gonna have to start all over again. So we'll get rid of a 2. And then just make some more tokens. We could now potentially run away with the game thanks to Lyra. So it's going to be an interesting spot, since if we play Lyra, then I don't think we'll be able to flip the second Gateway, since we'll have a 0, we'll have a 1, we'll have a 2, a 3, and a 4. So I guess technically we could still flip even if we play a Lyra here. So that might be the plan. Play Lyra, which will distract our opponent for a while we try and flip the second Gateway. Hope we don't need both Contempt and Settle. And just start making as many tokens as possible. Keep land in hand as a 0 for Gateway. It's gonna be Whisper, sure. Giant attacking. So with a Whisper in play, that could get a little scary. But right now, we do have another Dawn of Hope, so we could potentially use the Moment of Craving to get rid of Whisper, to keep Dawn of Hope as another 2. But if they find an answer for Dawn of Hope, then we're completely out of win conditions if they also answer Lyra. So I think we're fine killing the Giant here. Then we can Moment of Craving Whisper. But we can do that in our turn. It's more mana efficient to make another token here. And then we can start using the Gateway. Alright, so let's play Gateway. Use Moments on Whisper. Attack with Lyra, since I think we can use soldiers on defense here. And then we have exactly enough cards in hand to potentially still flip the second Gateway. And make more mana. But Lyra might be able to go the distance as well. Gravewaker. Alright, we have a Contempt for that, leaving us Settle the Wreckage as another 4 mana play. But they can activate it right away, they have exactly enough mana, so they can get back an Izoni. Or potentially a Chupacabra. We'll see what they do here. Yeah, this is scary. I mean, we're gonna have to get rid of the Gravewaker at some point, so we might as well do it now, see what they do. And act accordingly. And it's just gonna be a Chupacabra for Lyra. Alright, that's acceptable. So now we're back on the Dawn of Hope plan. Alright, so we can activate Gateway, get rid of a land which we don't really need, make a token. So it's gonna be 4 turns of hoping to dodge something relevant from the opponent, so we can keep using Gateway. But if they find an answer to any of our enchantments or artifacts, we could be in trouble. No attacks from the opponents. So we can make 3 tokens and still use Gateway. And we'll get rid of the least important cards first, so we'll keep Dawn of Hope and Settle in hand for as long as possible. Alright, we'll say go. And have to dodge 2 more turns here. Seeker Squire's fine. Necrotic Wound's fine. Alright. They probably put that in the graveyard. No, they kept it on top. Maybe hedging against another Lyra. Alright, well, so far so good. We know their next draw is irrelevant. And we're not too far from flipping the Gateway. And hopefully they don't have another Assassin's Trophy. So let's activate, get rid of our 3. And once we flip the Gateway, we'll be able to overpower opponents with our tokens. Alright. So they've got 1 unknown in hand and a Necrotic Wound. And their last card was another Necrotic Wound. Alright. So we will finally get to flip our Gateway, which will make at least 50 mana here, so we should be in good shape. Oh no, we accidentally clicked end of turn, meant to activate the Gateway end of turn there, of course. So now our opponent gets 1 extra draw step where we would have been able to transform the Gateway right now. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us here, but it could easily if they find another trophy, for example. Alright, just a land, so it didn't get punished. That was a close call. Alright, let's make sure to activate the Gateway now. Get rid of Settle. Azor 4. Untap. And then we can use Gateway right away. And even if they get rid of Dawn of Hope, we should be able to make enough tokens to be able to win the game here. Alright. So we're at 62 life. Can attack with everyone here. Get a bunch more life. And then end of turn we can make a whole bunch of life-linking tokens with our Dawn of Hope. Alright, so we're at 73. Opponent draws a land. Let's see if they bother to attack us here. They don't. Alright. Make some white mana. Start making some tokens. And I'm pretty sure we can get up to 19 tokens total here to kill our opponents. And our opponent scoops it up. Awesome. So it took the second Gateway to get there, but luckily we had just enough cards in hand to be able to transform the second Gateway and make a ton of mana to win the game. Sweet, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this gameplay. And as always, have a nice day. I also want to thank all my patrons for being part of the channel, and you can become a patron yourself today and decide the topic of future videos over at patreon.com/LegenVD.